Ruben Amorim's first game in charge. What did we learn? What are the positives? What are the negatives? I am going to be highlighting all of my thoughts and opinions from the game and also Ruben's press conference in this video. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Right, so let's get straight into it. Ruben Amorim's first game in the Premier League against Ipswich. 1-1 was the result. I myself didn't take a lot from the game in terms of negatives, more so positives. I like that he started with his own starting 11 in the 3-4-3 system, and the first thing that I'm going to address is the starting 11 that he started with and the positions the players played in. Obviously, as all of you know, we still have some players coming back and waiting to get fully fit to be in the starting 11. But I think he picked a fairly balanced starting 11. Evans, De Ligt and Mazraoui in the back line. In the middle, he played Dalot, Eriksen, Cass in the middle, Ahmad as the wing back, Garnacho, Bruno as the 2 10s, and Rashford as the 9. I was happy with the starting 11. The only thing I would have changed is probably played Anthony as the wing back and played Ahmad and Bruno together as the 2 10s. But other than that, you can't really ask for much because there are players that are still not ready to be starting yet. The first thing to highlight from that game was how poor it was to watch a midfield of Casemiro and Eriksen. Both players have been really good this season so far for Manchester United when they've played. They've probably been our most consistent players this season. Casemiro's long-range passing, Eriksen's composure is something that we need, and clearly it helps Manchester United in build-up. Referring to Ruben's press conference as well, he said that we needed to keep more possession of the ball, especially after we scored the first goal so early on in the game. And I think that's where Bruno Fernandes and Eriksen comes in, because those two players are the players that should be keeping the ball more. Eriksen specifically, because that's what Eriksen does. He controls the tempo of the game and he does it so well and picks the right passes. But in transition, when we were defending, Ipswich had so much space running at us in midfield, specifically Omari Hutchinson. The way he was turning and twisting and attacking pockets of spaces, getting past players, you saw certain times Johnny Evans absolutely leaving his line, going as high as he possibly can, following Omari, yet still not being able to close him down. He's just too quick and too sharp, and he caused us the most problem yesterday. And if a player from Ipswich can do that, Burns as well, Delap as well, if those type of players can cause us so much problem, I fear for Manchester United going forward, specifically if we do not address the midfield pairing early on. Now with Ugarte and Mino coming back soon, I'm hoping that that issue is resolved and we can tighten up the midfield a bit more. Mason Mount coming in as well, which Ruben Amorim, a player that he prefers and likes, I hope he can bring that energy and legs and physicality in the midfield, because that's what's needed as soon as possible. A couple of the players that I want to give a big shout out to, I think Onana deserves the utmost amount of credit and shout out for yesterday, because without Andre Onana, we would have been absolutely demolished. He made some fantastic saves and probably one of the best saves that he could have made. Point blank range, he saved a shot from Delap, who's, you know, Ipswich's top scorer as well. Not only that, Onana was coming out, sweeping the ball, collecting the ball from corner kicks, passing and playing out from the back, not only just doing long range passes. And obviously the passing that we did from the back led to the goal from open play, which Ahmad got the assist and Rashford got the goal. I think that goal sums up Ruben Amorim's system and football. The fact that we did it so early on in the game was a huge positive. We just needed to keep more possession of the ball after that, once we had grown on confidence, and that's something Ruben did say in his press conference. Alejandro Garnacho had an awful game. Diego Dalot had an awful game. I think Johnny Evans had a poor game. Mazraoui, I think, can do loads better, and he has done loads better, but yesterday wasn't his best game. But two players that I have to say that didn't do well at all, and they stunk it out, was Dalot and Garnacho. That left-hand side was totally non-existent. Dalot had a chance on goal as well that he fumbled. He could have cut back to try and square the ball to someone to score, but the left wing back position for Dalot, it is not going to work. I don't know if it's because it's his first game, because that's something Ruben did mention in his press conference. He said Dalot is used to passing the ball to the centre back and then going in the middle, being a midfielder, but now he's been asked to stick to his position and go up and down. Maybe it's going to take a couple of games for him to register that. So I think more so than anything, if we have a bit of patience to see out the next 4 or 5 games, to see what Ruben actually does with this team and how the players receive the information, because he said that the the players are overthinking. That is a huge problem for Manchester United right now. When you're passing the ball and you're supposed to stay, the players are moving forward. When you're supposed to move forward, the players are moving back. It's just those subtle things that are going to impact the game, specifically when you're playing this system. Especially Ruben is saying things like Xerxes needs to get in the box. Players, when they're passing, they get in the right position. They need to make the right decisions. At this level, you can't be teaching the right decisions. These are things that we need to work on and address. And some of these players, I don't think they last in this system. I'll be deadly honest with you. I think Ineos are looking at this and Ruben is looking at this and thinking, you cannot play in my system, but we will only know this after 4 or 5 solid games and then seeing how these players perform. Marcus Rashford as the 9. Look, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Marcus Rashford, I don't have any expectations from him. What he does, he scores a goal, he celebrates, he goes off, goes home. He comes to do his job, he does his job, he goes home. I don't have any more expectations from him. I really, really don't. But playing the 9, playing in the middle is going to be his future for Manchester United. I don't think he will play in the 2 10s under Ruben Amorim, and he will have to adjust the way he plays to fit into the 9. And if he doesn't, then we'll have to sell him. And even if he does, I think the conversations will lead to if we can part ways with him this summer. Early on in the first half, we created lots of little pockets of spaces and chances. I remember one particular chance when Eriksen had a shot on goal, but unfortunately it went wide. We needed more confidence going forward, and this is what it's lacking from the team. I think almost like we're so concentrated on playing out from the back and getting the back and getting the football right to progress the ball further up the pitch. When we do get further up the pitch, it's just confused.com. We don't really know who to pass to and what to do. And this is where it's costing us massively, because yes, we got lucky. Yes, we defended well. Yes, Onana saved us. But at the end of the day, the aim of the game is to try and score as many goals as possible. And that's where we are really failing. I want to give a shout out. As much as I've said Casemiro and Eriksen did not look comfortable together, Casemiro should have had an assist yesterday. Dalot had a chance from a beautiful long-range pass from Casemiro, and he did that a couple of times throughout the game. And we need to keep on saying how good he is at long-range passes. We need to utilize that. I think Casemiro can very well be a solid bench player for Manchester United for the next year or so if we don't get enough money for him. One of the highlights of the game, as much as Onana's save, was also Garnacho through on goal. Could have squared the ball to Marcus Rashford, but it seems like Alejandro struggles with his decision making in the final bit of whether he should pass or shoot. And that is something, in my opinion, you can't teach. He almost takes that extra touch every time. To give him benefit of doubt, he did do a few step overs against Swansea and then whip a ball into the box, but there was no strikers in the box. And at that time, Xerxes and Rasmus were both on the pitch, but nobody got onto that ball. And these are the things that Ruben needs to work on. If you really think about this, right, between all 3 of our forwards, in terms of the number 9, Marcus, Xerxes and Højlund, none of them have any aerial threat. And that is a concern for me. Out of all 3 of them, I think I can only say I've seen Rasmus Højlund run at the goal with the ball. Xerxes, I'm not seeing what he can do. This thing about him being in the 10, him being a 9.5, I don't understand. I'm still yet to see. I'm not making him a scapegoat at all. I'm really not. But I'm missing the understanding of what he brings to the pitch. What really does he bring to the pitch? Now I'm hearing things that he needs players who can play possession-based football to help, his football. But at the end of the day, your bread and butter is to get in the box. And the manager said that at the end of the game. We'll have to wait and see what they do, because at the end of the day, it's an Ineos signing, right? 3 things that I took from Ruben Amorim's press conference: patience, possession, and pressure. He said it's going to be a long process and it's going to be a painful process, but if we stick through this now and adjust the behaviors and the mindset and the mentality, the way the players think, we will be better off next season. And I agree. I definitely agree. But does that mean we need to get knocked out of the Europa League and throw that out the way? No, I don't think that. Number 2, possession. He specifically said we need to keep the ball more. We don't keep the ball enough. And that is very true. One thing we did well is we got players behind the ball when we were defending. More of the players were behind the ball, so you can defend. Under Eric, what you saw is more of the players were in front of the ball when we were defending, meaning we were chasing back at our goal. But yesterday we were a lot tighter. But where we went wrong is with players like Hutchison, Burns, Delap, they can be players. They can come out of tight positions, and so can many other players in the league. And that is where you're going to need aggressors, you're going to need players who have energy, and you're going to need players who can read the game really well. And that is where the strengthening will come in the summer. Alongside Ugarte, who are they going to bring in? In the 210s, I think Bruno Fernandes should be coming in deeper, trying to help the team as well. He did say one thing as well. If Bruno Fernandes played in Garnacho's position, the game would have been totally different. And I want to see these differences. The pressure aspect of things, look, Ruben knows more than anyone. You have to teach the team, coach the team, play the better football and still win. And the fact is, he said we could have lost the game, Onana saved us. And I understand where he's coming from, but the pressure is definitely on. I'm already seeing, media platform, fans and everything saying they're a bit on the back foot straight away. But I believe that Ruben will get it right. And the fact that more than Ruben actually has got it right, because he's played his formation. It's the players that need to change their way of thinking, because some of these players have played 3 years under this Erik ten Hag, and their mindset is still, and their behaviors on the pitch is probably still like it used to be. And to change that, it's gonna need time. Ruben said we're thinking too much, we're overthinking. The fluidity comes when you play football in autopilot, and we are overthinking the game way too much. When we need to pass the ball and move, we're thinking too much. When we need to square the ball, in the final third, we're taking that extra touch, and that's the thing we need to work on. Rotation, that is a very important thing that Ruben mentioned as well, because he said the players that are on the bench, they will train, of course, but they will also be used in certain games because we have so many fixtures coming up. We are in every competition, like we should be anyways. So rotation is going to be key. I want to see different combinations in the midfield, different combinations in the 210s, different players play in the number 9 to see how these players do with different players. And I think it will take around 6 to 10 games before Ruben finally understands which players work with which players the best for his formation. Couple of things as well. We need to attack the summer and get an out-and-out number 9. As of right now my opinion might change, but as of right now, I do not think Højlund and Xerxes are the strikers that can lead Manchester United. I don't think so. Delap turned, beat 4 players, passed the ball with the outside of his boot, got in the box, got into the near post, flicked the ball to try and score. And Andre Onana made a great save. I mean, if he scored that goal, that would have been a fantastic play. But we don't see that from our players. That because of the routine, fluidity, overthinking, pressure, physicality. We'll have to wait and see. But even when it comes to physicality, Garnacho is not physical enough. He's getting bullied off the ball and then complaining to the ref. The only player that I can say is stepping up right now, Amad Diallo, because he played a wing back and he was so focused and concentrating on his defending. He did fantastic. He went past 2-3 players and crossed the ball in for the goal. He did what he was supposed to do as a wing back. And to think that he can play the 10 better than some of our players, but he's playing wing back, it hurts me. But at the end of the day, he was given an instruction and he did it really, really well. We really need Martinez and Lenny Yoro back as well as soon as possible. We can't be playing Johnny Evans in the middle. We can't be starting him. Lenny Yoro, Martinez and De Ligt need to play in the back line. I think having Mazraoui as a right centre back as well did not help us. I think it would be better if Mazraoui played as a wing back and maybe Dallo or Anthony played as a wing back on the other side. I want to see Anthony play as a wing back just so I can understand if he has a future in Manchester United. Dallo, a lot of conversations are happening. Look, he's been here more than 5 years now. So does Manchester United need to part ways with Diogo Dallo? We will see in the next 5, 6, 7 games if he can step up and play. Because at the end of the day, I think Mazraoui's got that right-hand side locked down. And maybe Dallo will end up becoming a bench player if Anthony does well in the left-hand side. Or even Luke Shaw for the rest of the season. But either way, Luke Shaw needs to be sold, come summertime. So we will see what happens. But overall, I'm not panicking. No concerns. I'm really happy with Andre Onana. I'm really happy with Amad Diallo. I'm really happy with De Ligt. I'm happy the way that we scored the goal. I think we could have done a little bit better with our defending for sure. It was an unfortunate goal that we conceded because it was a deflection, but it's a game of football and it happens. And just like they missed clear-cut chance, Delap, his shot was saved by Onana. Same with Garnacho. He could have squared the ball and Ipswich defender made an absolutely outstanding tackle to clear it away. So yeah, not panicking, just a little bit sad that we didn't get the win, but still lots of faith in Ruben. I think he will get it right, and I think the players will buy into it. But Ineos is the bigger thing for me. They need to back him. They need to make sure they sell some players and cash in whilst the stock is at some value. And that means probably the likes of Luke Shaw, Casemiro if we can get good money, Eriksen, Johnny Evans is going to leave. I don't know. Are Man United in a position to keep Alejandro Garnacho? You know, we need to have these uncomfortable conversations. Marcus Rashford, do we keep him in the summer? Joshua Zirkzee or Rasmus Højlund, which one of them do we part ways with so we can bring in the likes of Victor Gyökeres if Ruben wants him, or someone else in 6-7 months time? But we need an out and out striker. It's just, the striker is just a graveyard shift for Manchester United, and players before they come to Manchester United to play in that role look really good. As soon as they come to Manchester United, they don't look as good, and this goes for both Rasmus and Joshua. But I hope if the system and the football is getting right and better, that the striker starts scoring and we can start seeing what they can actually do. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. I'll be doing these videos after every match day and bringing you guys lessons learned. If you like it, enjoy it, leave a comment down below, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.